Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on NBC 16 Today. I'm Zach Bruhl. We'll get to your top stories in just a moment. But first, let's take a peek outside, see how weather is shaping up this morning. It's a clear start to the day here in Western Oregon, a sign of things to come, at least for now. But it does have some side effects that come with it as well. A break from the rain as of yesterday, maybe afternoon through the night and into the morning. But we do have some fog beginning to spread through the I-5 corridor. It started as a big clump down in Roseburg, and it's starting to get a little more widespread along the I-5 corridor. Obviously not quite as dense in Eugene as it is down in the Umpqua Valley, but still, if you're cruising along the southern portion of the I-5 in our region today, be careful that there may be some visibility interruptions across that commute today. Big temperature drop-offs after that breakup in cloud coverage over the evening last night. So we're down to the mid to upper 30s compared to near 50 yesterday. The coast still hanging on to those mid 40 temperatures. Story's pretty similar down in the southern portion of our region as well. A little bit of rain yesterday, but as we go into today, like I said, really starting to dry out, so don't expect much moisture here in the region until we get towards the weekend. Brianna Chavez will join us in just a little bit to break down what's expected over the coming days here shortly. Now let's head to the roadways. Our live shot buddy heading to the scene of a crash this morning. This is on Interstate 5. Decent amount of traffic backed up in the northbound lanes of Interstate 5. Now he's just south of where a crash occurred. It was about 11 miles south of Albany. Now, as a result, all northbound lanes are blocked at this time. You can see the detour sign illuminated there on your screen, as well as a long line of traffic heading to the Halsey-Brownsville exit. That's the way the traffic is being diverted at this moment. If you're still south of there, heading north this morning, maybe pop over to Highway 99 and take yourself that route, because traffic, like you can see, pretty darn slowed down in those northbound lanes and having to detour. So be careful about that. Now, also some other things. We're hearing about a rollover crash at High Pass Road and Territorial Highway. That intersection is blocked. You may want to avoid that area as well. And Highway 126 at the Knowles Creek Tunnel is going to be having some cleanup work done. That's going to result in some slowdowns throughout the day. And then at 4 to 5 p.m. tonight, they'll have another shutdown like they did yesterday morning. Also reports of a crash on Beltline in Eugene. This is in the westbound lanes. All lanes are affected, but just an under 20-minute delay at this point, so nothing overwhelming there. But a little bit of action on the roadways. Maybe pop on a trip check before heading out on your commute today, just to get an update on what's going on out there on those roads. Thanks, buddy. Stay safe.
Illegal to me is the fact that families are wondering, how do I tell my kid that mom or dad has to leave? Illegal is that Trump and the three oligarchs combined have more than $1 trillion. That shit's stealing your opportunities. Not the person with a simple desire to have a better life.
Hundreds of University of Oregon students on campus Wednesday gathering to protest immigration enforcement. NBC 16's Gold Meadows was at the protest on the University of Oregon campus yesterday. There, she spoke with protesters and some of the event organizers.
I'm here at the Herb Memorial Union, where a dramatic increase in immigration enforcement has sparked an outcry of a local group, MECHA, at the University of Oregon's campus. And that group has asked students and staff, even community members, to come out with their flags raised and their voices raised in protest. MECHA galvanizes Chicanx students on campus who embrace their indigenous roots. MECHA says it's standing up against the targeting of immigrants and marginalized people, as well as what it calls a horrendous approach to policy by the Trump administration. Last month, Governor Tina Kotek committed to uphold the state's sanctuary laws, which prevent government and police from helping with the federal enforcement of immigration laws. Oregon also prohibits public agencies from assisting. This gives some comfort to those involved with MECHA.
Our board doesn't consist of many immigrants, but we do want to give that space to our students who are immigrants. We are in complete agreement with our state and the sanctuary laws. We are pleased to know that they're going to be standing firm on those, and we are pleased to know and acknowledge that university's police department are standing firm with those sanctuary laws as well. Overall, we hope we're providing a space for education and for speaking out. Even though we are not on the southern border, we have a lot of people migrating up into Oregon. Even now, that kind of growing fear just continuously developing.
Now, one speaker tells us it's Congress which needs to hear the message loud and clear.
If the community wants to support our people, our immigrants, we need to write a letter to our congressmen. We need to write a letter to our senators, because this is the people that write the laws and that they approve the laws. Yeah, and right there is the key. And ask for an amnesty for that people that have living here for more than 25 years.
Early Wednesday, state representatives released a statement urging the Democrat Party to end its resistance to the enforcement of responsible immigration policy, saying, quote, "It isn't about partisanship, it's about the protection and security of our communities, including law-abiding immigrant communities." And as voices are raised here at UO, as of last month, hundreds of U.S. soldiers have been directed to the country's southern border, where federal officials say captures of migrants have decreased because of the recent enforcements. In Eugene, I'm Gold Meadows.
Turning now to the nation's capital, former Oregon Representative Lori Chavez DeRemer faced difficult questions yesterday. She had her first confirmation hearing to lead the Department of Labor. Will President Trump hollow out the Labor Department without consulting Congress? Well, that exact question was put to Chavez DeRemer.
We will follow the law and the Constitution. I do not believe the president would ask me to break the law.
I understand that as the pat response from nominees, we've seen a lot of evidence that he will in the last 4 weeks.
She also dodged questions during the hearing regarding whether Elon Musk's Doge project should have access to OSHA and labor violations investigations. Musk owns companies that have existing probes against them. Chavez DeRemer eventually said she would defer to the president on those issues. Now, Chavez DeRemer has a pro-union record. During the hearing, advocates for workers' rights questioned whether she would uphold that reputation under the Trump administration. She was repeatedly pressed about her stance on protecting the Right to Organize Act, known as the PRO Act. It's a sweeping labor bill sought to strengthen collective bargaining rights. She said she no longer supports that act, despite co-sponsoring it during her term. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden says he will vote against her confirmation. In a statement, he said, in part, quote, "As a proud supporter of the PRO Act, I took special note of Lori Chavez DeRemer's bizarre disavowal today of her previous support for that vital legislation," end quote. Now in Salem, Oregon lawmakers are considering a bill aiming to make fertility treatments more affordable. It would require health insurance plans to cover certain fertility treatments like IVF. Now this comes as President Trump signed an executive order this week to protect this kind of care. Salem Bureau reporter Vasily Varlamos has more.
Lawmakers are considering a bill aiming to make fertility treatment more affordable. The bill requires health insurance plans to cover certain fertility treatments, such as IVF and others, for individuals diagnosed with infertility. The bill would also prevent health providers from forcing patients to try less expensive treatments first and commit to studying the barriers to fertility care in Oregon.
Oregon has been a leader in reproductive health, including for abortion and contraception. However, Oregon has unfortunately not expanded insurance coverage for infertility and fertility preservation.
Fertility insurance coverage laws are in place in some form in 22 other states, plus Washington, D.C. President Trump signing an executive order Tuesday with similar ideas to this bill. The order provides a list of policy recommendations protecting access to IVF treatment and, quote, aggressively reduce out-of-pocket and health plan costs for such treatments. Some at a public hearing on the bill concerned about the financial side of things. A healthcare provider representative says the cost of implementing the bill as written would be about $14 million to $23 million based on their estimates.
Even if we did align with Pub-like coverage, it'd still be one of the most expensive mandates in Oregon history.
I'll keep you updated on the status of this bill in Salem. I'm Vasily Varlamos.
Turning our attention to the coast, misdemeanors and nonviolent crimes may not always receive great attention from law enforcement, but they can be devastating for the victims. That was the case for Rebecca Davis, who says she called the Coos Bay Police Department back in October to report a vehicle break-in, but she says she was disappointed with the response.
Everything got stolen. My bank accounts got wiped, and they couldn't even come talk to me because they were so overwhelmed with calls.
Coos Bay Police Department says the local dispatch center is extremely busy after it took over operations for the sheriff's office 6 months ago. To help address the issue, the agency recently launched an online reporting tool called MyPD Connect, which allows users to report crimes like theft, fraud, and vandalism.
We just want to give them more options and make it easier to connect with us So I think this could be easier for people that don't want to make a phone call right now or maybe feel worried about making a crime tip, and this way they can do it more anonymously. So I think it just gives our citizens and visitors another option to connect with us.
CBPD says it assigns an officer to investigate all property crime reports made to its agency and within city limits. My PD Connect reports can be filed on the police department's website.